We are now on our last episode of what we call the traffic signs trilogy. Johnny and Anna will join me.
Hello, classmates!
Now, student drivers, let's discuss the guide or informative signs. These signs inform and advise the road users about the general direction, distance, a route, and other indicators of important services for road users.
What examples do we have, Mr. Drive Safe?
First, advanced direction signs. These signs show the only direction the driver should follow to get to their destination. Intersection direction signs. These are positioned at least 1 kilometer before an intersection or turning point before the destination. Reassurance direction signs. These show the estimated distance of exits or tunnels, especially from superhighways or expressways on the way to the destination. Fingerboard and direction signs. These signs point to the direction of the closest cities, tourist spots, interesting places and attractions, and other intersections that lead to more leisurely places. Tourist information, distance, and direction signs. These signs show information on places considered as tourist spots.
Excuse me, Mr. DriveSafe, just a quick question.
Yes, Anna, what is it?
These street signs or the small steel placards that have street names, are those considered informative signs?
Yes, Anna, definitely. Often, this could be found at the top of a metal post, at the corner of different streets. Sometimes, these can be found at the edge of intersections. Apart from this, even signs that resemble placards that have the name of the area or the tourist spots are also considered informative signs.
There we go. I knew it. I guessed it correctly. Thank you, Mr. DriveSafe.
No problem at all. Now let's continue. Service signs. These are a big help for motorists since it tells them what service establishments are close by. An example of these signs tell us where the nearby hospitals or first aid centers are. These signs could also tell you if airports, camping areas, information centers, and other important establishments are nearby. How about you? What other service signs can you think of?
Of course, sir. For us drivers, as a future driver, we always want to know where the nearest gas station is.
That's right, Johnny. What else?
Places where you could eat, like restaurants, cafes, hotels, other places where you can rest between long road trips, parking places, restrooms, places you can throw trash or food packages, facilities for people with disabilities, and telephone booths.
Yes, even telephone booths, although nowadays we see this kind of service sign rarely.
Agreed.
Next, route markers. They identify the general direction of arterial roads or minor highways, or roads and national highways that have significance by showing the number and the direction of the route. These signs pertain to the Philippine Highway Network. While this sign is what you call the Asian Highway Route Marker, this states that the road is part of the identified Asian Highway Network where, for us in the Philippines, this is better known as the Pan-Philippine Highway.
Does this mean, sir, that there is a one really long highway that connects all the national highways of all the different countries?
Let me clarify. It doesn't literally mean that highways are connected with all other highways, Johnny, especially since there are a lot of countries in the Asian continents that are composed of different islands. The concept of the Asian Highway Network is to standardize the highway systems within the whole continent. That's why, if a national highway in the Philippines is identified as a part of the AH-26, It means that the construction is done according to the agreed road quality and highway system of other Asian countries.
I see. Now I understand.
Anna, have you seen this at the side of the road before?
Oh, yeah, an upright cement pole that is normally in the color yellow. Is that a route marker, Mr. DriveSafe?
Yes, it's a route marker. Now, what do the numbers or letters written on it mean? Before I answer that, did you know that in the Philippines, the numbers you see here refer to the distance of the area from the 0 kilometer post in each province, which should be somewhere near the provincial building or capital. In Luzon, distance is measured between each provincial 0 kilometer post and the 0 kilometer post in Luneta Park, Manila. So the number below the letters K, M, is the measure of the distance in terms of kilometers between the place of the post and the 0 kilometer post at Luneta Park, while the bottom of the post is in the capital letter, which represents the first letter to the name of the next city or town, and the number below that pertains to the distance in kilometers to the next city or town.
Oh, cool!
It is. Now, before we proceed, let's learn about expressways. Expressways are high-speed divided highways for through traffic with access to partial or fully controlled access. It usually has a few, if any, intersections. Sooner or later, we are to come across road signages that would indicate we are heading towards an expressway or a skyway as shown. Just a quick reminder, we mustn't go in this direction if it wasn't in our original plan, or travel to use the expressway. If you do take the expressway, you're going to have a much longer travel time. We should remember that motorcycles are prohibited to take the expressway, except for 400cc motorcycles. Also, vehicles that don't have taillights or the red-colored bulbs at their back are also prohibited before using the expressways. Skyways, on the other hand, are like expressways, but are elevated usually tens of meters high above the ground level. It redirects motorists to another expressway, quite unconventionally compared with the traditional expressway.
Mr. Drive Safe, you mentioned that motorcycles are not allowed on expressways, right? So does that mean that pedestrians, cyclists, and animals and carts are also prohibited to use the expressways too?
Yes, Johnny, it's extremely prohibited, not just because of the fines, but also because of the dangers that the speed of the vehicles could bring. Now, when you're on expressways or skyways, be observant and pay attention to proper lane direction signs. These signs remind drivers to limit or avoid switching lanes. You see, staying on the same lane throughout the drive helps a driver stay away from the road crashes. Every lane in an express lane leads to different directions and destinations. When you're close to the expressway exit to your destination, you're going to head directly to some special signs, usually colored red, with a reminder that says, "Slow down." Sometimes these signs go with reminders to check whether our car brakes are in good condition. We will see these signs 200 meters from the toll exit. You also need to be aware of these so that you don't miss the exit.
Whoa, I can imagine what can happen if you miss that toll exit, Mr. DriveSafe. It must be such a huge hassle.
You said so, Anna. That's why whether you are in an expressway or in an ordinary highway as a driver, you need to be alert and pay attention to various expressway signs. As a driver, you also won't be able to avoid the merging of highway lanes. There are warnings of these for every half a meter from the area where the lanes merge.
Alright, got it.
Let's remember, even though we pay taxes for road construction, government agencies would still need funds for the maintenance of streets, especially expressways. This is because of the hourly wear and tear that comes from multiple vehicles, some of which have heavy cargo. No matter how sturdy the cement or asphalt is, the roads would get potholes, cracks, and other issues on the road. This is the reason why drivers have to pay tolls at the toll plaza or toll gates that are indicated by expressway signs. To avoid additional trouble, you could do quick research on how much you need to pay the toll plazas on the way to the destination. It is better to have some change ready so that we can give the exact amount at the toll gate.
We will keep that in mind.
In the next chapters, we will have a thorough discussion on expressway rules. So stay tuned. Fellow drivers, there is also something called hazard markers. These signs emphasize a change in direction of the road as well as the presence of any obstructions in the area. A lot of hazard markers use chevron signs that you will find on your screens. Part of the hazard markers has to do with the direction a driver needs to take in the next few meters of the road. Two-way hazard markers are often placed at the edge of the center island and tell drivers that they could pass around the sides of the obstruction on the road.
Oh, that is what the hazard markers look like. Nice.
Right. Traffic hazards, on the other hand, are the wide centers known as the median island. These include the parts of an overpass that are located in the middle of the street. That's why these kind of hazard markers are the ones that are used. Chevron signs that point upward. The straight and vertical black and white stripes, just like the ones you see now, mean that the road is closed around the front area. These are according to a case-to-case basis. These are often used for temporary road closures. Slanting and intersecting black-white bars means something completely different. These would often be seen side by side at the edge of a bridge that serves as a reminder for motorists that the road ahead gets narrower. The next few meters of the road would not be as wide as the road taken during the earlier part of the trip. Now, let us examine the picture which shows road work underway. Johnny, can you name the road signs in the picture?
Sure, Mr. Drive Safe, I can do this. The signs with red circles are what we call regulatory signs. The sign that has a 40 inside of it signifies that our speed should not exceed 40 kilometers per hour.
What else, Anna?
It kind of looks like advanced direction signs. The white billboard has the words QCMC and SJDM written on it, 500 meters.
Uh-huh.
And also the ones that says construction entrance or exit 200 meters. Are those warning signs, Mr. Drive Safe? The one that says roadworks ahead, slow down, men at work?
That's right, Johnny. Well done, guys. How about you? Were you able to identify the same classifications of road signs Johnny and Anna just identified? Nice! Final tip before we end the traffic sign trilogy, Drive Safe PH edition. Study and memorize the images and meaning of the traffic signs we discussed. If you can properly identify them when you become a licensed driver, it will definitely guide, help, and make you and other road users safe. I think you're ready for the quiz.
We are ready!
You can do it.